Alrighty, y'all. We are back. But we back. Live Center gotta pop up with his whatever it does real quick. So yeah, y'all, let's continue right where we left off without any further ado at all. Here we go.
So at 12 p.m., Pooh and a couple of his homies arrive to Bay Harbor Islands to meet up with Brandon.
Hopefully y'all
They
can hear
arrive
me
in a black
okay.
Maybach and they pull in right next to the McLaren. So Pooh Shiesty hops out, Brandon gets out to meet him, shows him the car, and then has him sit in the driver's seat. Of course, Brandon hops around, hops in the passenger seat, and begins to show him how to use the car. So while they're dealing with all this, Pooh is also awaiting a shoe guy to come sell him some shoes. 12:22 p.m. The shoe guy arrives in a Mercedes and backs in. Well, as soon as he pulls in, two of Pooh Shiesty's homies, Bobby and Jaden, hop out. And instead of buying shoes, they whip out guns and they begin to rob him.
Man, give me all the designer before I turn this Draco into Mercer.
As they're robbing him, one of them accidentally lets off a shot. Pow! And this is when Pooh gets the message. So while sitting in the McLaren, out of nowhere, he whips out a Draco and points it at Brandon. And as Brandon quickly tries to jump out of the car, Pooh lets off a shot. Pow! He hits him right in his butt. In the video, you can see Brandon running off holding his backside, which I don't even know how he did that. A 7.62 at close range? Whoo! But quickly, Pooh pulls out with the McLaren, speeds off, and then his homies speed off in the Maybach. However, while driving away, he leaves behind a duffel bag full of $40,000. But either way, they somehow get away and seemingly get away with this. Okay, first of all, let's just analyze how dumb the situation is. First of all, even though you arrive with $40,000 in cash and clearly are able to buy the shoes, your boys decide to rob the shoe guy for no reason. Then, for no reason at all, you decide to shoot the car guy in the butt with a Draco for no reason. Then you take off and leave a bag full of cash with all your fingerprints on it. Lord have mercy, dumb, and maybe even dumber than his dad, but yeah, I don't think his dad would have even done this. But again, because he saw his dad go his whole life committing crime after crime and not getting in trouble for real, and then he himself did the same thing and didn't really face consequences either, he thinks that he can just get away with this and it's no problem. Well, for the meantime, it's true. Pooh can simply do whatever he wants. And a month after this incident, he dropped the biggest song he's ever dropped.
Come get it, Back in Blood.
Back in Blood featuring Lil Durk absolutely takes over the country and even Europe as well. This not only makes Pooh Shiesty a sensation, but also a staple in the game. Now you might be thinking, all this success for such a bad dude, but maybe think twice about that. And now that introduces us to his brother. I now introduce you to Pooh Shiesty's half-brother by the name of Terrence Henderson, also known as T to P. Growing up, Pooh and T were like more than brothers, really best friends in the world. So when Pooh's career began to take off, T was of course excited, like I'm gonna be right next to you too. However, during this time, T began getting migraines that progressively got worse and worse. But despite all this, T did not want to go to the doctor. I mean, one, he didn't have health insurance, but also he's like, I'm gonna just thug this out. Well, eventually it would become excruciating, and after being rushed to the emergency room, doctors would discover brain cancer. Things are looking bad, and on top of this, because he doesn't have health insurance, it all has to come out of pocket. Surgeries and treatments that I'm talking at the minimum are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. When Pooh gets word of this, he doesn't even think twice, just pays it, boom. Handle anything you need to handle. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars just for the slim chance that his brother will survive. Sadly though, after many attempts to prolong his life, he passes away on February 18th, 2021. This of course devastates Pooh tremendously. My brother is gone just like that. But instead of sitting around moping, he decides to use this as motivation and do exactly what T would want him to do. Keep dropping hits and run up the millions. Well, because he only owns 20% of his streams, he's extra motivated to do a bunch of shows, clubs, walkthroughs, whatever he can to run it up. And that takes us to May 30th, 2021. It's a late Saturday night at the famous Miami club King of Diamonds, and Pooh Shiesty is set to perform a few songs for $30,000. So at 2 in the morning, he arrives with his crew. He pulls up to the club with a pistol in his waistband and $20,000 falling out of his pocket. Somehow he makes it through security with no problems, and he hits the stage to perform. Well, while he's performing, a fan grabs at his pocket and his money falls down to the floor. Naturally, after seeing this, people go down and they begin picking up his money. Some people to hand it back to him and others to put it in their pockets. Pooh Shiesty is understandably pissed as he bends over to grab whoever's grabbing his money. And as he bends over, the club security see the gun on his waist. So the security approach him and they begin to escort him out of the club. Pooh Shiesty, being who he is not thrilled with this. So once he gets to the exit of the club, he whips out his blick and bang! He shoots one of the security guards in the ankle. He and his crew run to the car, spin off, and somehow seemingly get away with this. Once again doing wild ass shit for no reason and getting away with it. At this point, he's doing whatever the hell he wants, shooting a dude in the butt with a Draco in a McLaren, then driving away in the McLaren, then shooting a security guard in the foot for no reason. He's getting all the money in the world, all the love, the girls, the fame, everything, and he thinks that he just will never get in trouble for anything. But right in the midst of the biggest run in his career, the rooster comes home to crow. On July 7th, 2021, he's indicted by the feds.
South Florida rapper is facing a judge after police say that he was involved in an armed robbery. NBC6 reporter Claudio DeCampo has more on the charges he's facing.
He's an entertainer. He goes by the name Pooh Shiesty.
His real name is Lontrell Williams, and prosecutors say on October 9th, he was involved in an armed robbery in Bay Harbor Islands.
Several people agreed to meet 20-year-old Lontrell Williams.
Detectives said Williams arrived at a parking lot near East Bay Harbor Drive in Town Hall just before 2 in the afternoon. A black Mercedes Maybach followed and another black vehicle. Then, according to the arrest warrant, while the alleged victims were talking with Williams, 2 men from the other black car approached them with guns, shooting at them, and Williams allegedly pointed an assault rifle at one of them. Williams, aka Pooh Shiesty, is from Memphis and had recently signed on with recording label Gucci Mane's. Now he could face life in prison if convicted of armed robbery with a firearm, a charge that usually has no bond.
It ends up being attempted murder, armed robberies, shootings, conspiracies, you name it. And with these charges, facing over 60 years in prison. When the news breaks, everyone has 3 thoughts. Damn, so he wasn't capping in his lyrics. Wait, he's really dumb. Why would he do all that? Yeah, his life and career are definitely over. Bye-bye, you ruined it all. Go enjoy eating out of a tin tray for the rest of your life. And why everyone thought this? Well, firstly, it happened in Florida and they don't play. But secondly, the feds picked it up. Well, given the fact that he moved so sloppy and left a whole trail of evidence, everyone thought that, hey, he's just better take a plea deal. His lawyer thinks the same thing. There's really no way I can prove you're innocent. So instead, I can try to get sympathy for you and just hope they give you a lighter sentence. Your Honor, you see, my client had a really difficult life. He really doesn't know any better than the life he lives. His father was in and out of jail his entire life, and he grew up right in the middle of one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the world. He already went to juvenile hall at 11 years old, and then he was shot at 14, and then shot again at 17 years old. Then his music career takes off, and right in the midst of it, he loses his brother to cancer. If you give my client a second chance, I promise you he won't mess it up. Welp, the sympathy works, cause now instead of serving 60 years, he serves 63 months. Just a little over 5 years for 2 shootings and a robbery.
Thank him for his service.
Can't go wrong with that. So he begins his prison sentence on January 4th, 2022. Now, when most rappers go to prison, their careers pretty much die out. The next wave of rappers come along and everyone forgets you. But for Pooh Shiesty, even in prison, he remains relevant, because that's how big his impact was. It wasn't quite young boy levels, but somewhere in the stratosphere. So despite having to sit down for 5 years, the future is really bright, because when he gets out, he's going to be right back to it. Well, with that being said, we fast forward 11 months into his sentence when Pooh receives some devastating news. On December 22nd, 2022, his close friend and fellow 1017 rapper Big Scar passes away.
This is about a Memphis rapper connected to Young Dolph. Rapper Big Scar has died. This is what was posted by rapper Gucci Mane on his Instagram page. It shows a picture of Big Scar along with the caption that reads, "This hurts. I'm going to miss you." We are hearing the rapper died today. He was signed to Gucci Mane's label. Right now, we are working to learn how he died. Big Scar was about to go on tour with Key Glock next year. He was just 22 years old.
This, of course, devastates Shiesty,
22
but
years
then
old.
it turns into anger. Why? Because shortly after the passing, Pooh Shiesty would get word that Gucci Mane wants his 1017 chain back from Scar that he gave to him when he signed to his label. And apparently, Scar's family was taken aback by this. Like, damn, you gave him this chain when he signed to you. And now that he passes away tragically, you want it back from us? Man, that ain't right, bruh.
Allegedly, they said that Gucci asked for Scar's 1017 chains back after he passed away. And they said that Gucci really did nothing for the funeral or nothing for the family. And this is actually, we have audio of the brother and sister talking about it.
The minute that them folk called your phone to see if you gonna pay for the funeral, you blocked them. That's not real, cuz. On God, that's not real. You ain't straight, and you ain't getting them chains, cuz. It ain't no way that's happening. Thought we just gonna let that go, cuz. No, it's over. You played.
So whether this is true or not, when Pooh gets word of this, he is pissed. Like, man, what the fuck is wrong with Gucci Mane? Now I'm looking at you sideways, cause where is your loyalty to your artists? Do you not care about them at all? Is it all just about money for you? So here is where tension starts to grow from Pooh Shiesty towards Gucci. And from here, it only gets worse. Like I said earlier in the video, Gucci put a clause in the contract that if Pooh gets locked up or anything happens, he does not get his full money. So the entire time that Pooh Shiesty is locked up, he allegedly does not receive any money from his music. So while sitting in prison for nearly 4 big years, he's in there like, damn, this motherfucker owes me my money. And now we fast forward to his release, October 6, 2025. Pooh Shiesty is finally home and everyone is excited. And right off the bat, he drops an absolute banger.
FDO.
Of course, it goes viral. Actually, one of the first rap songs in a long time to get up in the charts. So unlike the rappers of the past who got out of prison and really couldn't get their buzz back, Pooh Shiesty was instantly right back on it. So after seeing that he still has the sauce, labels began to tap in. In fact, this is when, allegedly, Yo Gotti offers him $10 million to sign to his label and to leave 1017. Ooh-wee, it sounds good. But the problem is, he owes Gucci Mane 4 more albums. So he's stuck for a while, and on top of this is when he finds out that Gucci made over $25 million off his streams while he was locked up.
Oh, hell nah, bruh.
So you wanted Scar's chain back after he passed away, and now you're making all this money off me and didn't want to do me right? So this is when he or his father come up with a big master plan. January 10th, 2026. It's a big day for Gucci Mane as he and his crew are headed to Dallas. Why? Because this is where Pooh is doing his parole and he invited him to come to the studio.
Hey, man. Look, I know everything, everything messed up, but come to the studio, let's talk business.
Alright, let me stop. Long story short, Pooh Shiesty hits up Gucci like, hey bruh, let's talk business, let's get in the studio, make some hits, and get over our issues. So of course, Gucci is like, cool, and he, his cameraman, and his security guard fly out to Dallas. They arrive at 1 p.m. and they head to the address that Pooh provided. At 1 p.m., they arrive to the building that the studio is located, and of course, Pooh Shiesty isn't there. He's running late, so Gucci and his guys figure, hey, to kill time, let's head to a liquor store, grab some cups, grab some drinks, just to, set the vibe. So while they're doing this, our good friend Mob Boss, also known as Pooh Shiesty's father, is at Staples printing out a contract. What contract? Well, specifically a release form that releases Pooh Shiesty from 1017 Records. Well, while he's printing out the contract, Pooh Shiesty and Big 30 are planning exactly how they're gonna do it. It being convincing Gucci Mane to sign the contract. Well, finally, at 3:27 p.m., Pooh Shiesty and his guys arrive to the studio. They shake hands with Gucci and his crew, and together they all head upstairs. So they're all sitting down in the studio chopping it up when Pooh Shiesty gets a call. Who is it? His parole officer telling him that he needs to go home immediately. Overhearing the convo, Gucci's like, hey bruh, just go home, handle that, we'll go in the studio another time, I'll stay here in Dallas, don't even worry about it. But nah, Pooh Shiesty hangs up the phone call and says, nah bruh, it's all good, I ain't tripping off that. Wait, actually, bruh, Gucci, I just want to talk to you one-on-one. Let's go in this side room. So together, Pooh Shiesty and Gucci head off to the side room right next to the studio. And this is when Pooh Shiesty asks him a simple, straightforward question. Can you please release me from my contract? I don't want to be signed to 1017 anymore. And if not, can you give me my 20% that you owed me while I was in prison? This is when Gucci Mane pretty much responds, look bruh, I ain't got the money for you, let's just figure out these last 4 albums, that's it. I don't know what he expected, but Pooh Shiesty is not happy with the response. So this is when he allegedly signals to Big 30, and then Big 30 leaves, goes to the car, grabs a bag, and comes back upstairs. He returns to the meeting room with a duffel bag full of guns and with Pooh Shiesty's father. And this is allegedly when Pooh Shiesty's dad grabs a Draco out of the bag and ups it at Gucci.
Sign this contract or I'm blowing you down.
Mine. So under duress and the threat of his life being ended, Gucci signs the contract. Somehow they're able to pull this all off in a side room with no cameras and no evidence. Basically at this exact moment, they have a very high chance of getting away with this. Gucci can't really claim that he didn't actually sign the contract, because he's on camera shaking their hands, walking up to the studio with them, and everything seems amicable. And then because his crew were in the other room, he really has no witnesses to say that, hey, they forced me to do this. And if he did want to make this claim, he'd have to go the legal way and call the police and say, hey, they upped the gun at me and forced me to sign this, blah, 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 blah. Of course, in this twisted rap street culture, doing that makes you a snitch and makes your career pretty much over. So again, at this exact moment, Gucci Mane lost the deal. All Pooh Shiesty and his guys have to do is go on about their day like nothing happened, leave the studio, and then they're free. But no, this is when all of Pooh's crew whip out guns and begin robbing Gucci's crew at gunpoint. Cash, jewelry, music equipment, camera equipment, everything. They ransack them, run away from the studio, hop in their car, and speed away. All of this not knowing that Gucci's security guard is an off-duty police officer. So Pooh Shiesty, his crew, and his dad run off like,
yeah, we got out of the contract, we lit.
Not knowing that Gucci Mane and his crew went right to the police and they're cooking up an indictment. So for a few months, while Pooh Shiesty and his dad are feeling like geniuses, they have no idea what's right around the corner.
9 suspects involved in the robbery and kidnapping of rapper Gucci Mane have been arrested. Officials say the alleged ringleader behind the attack was rapper Pooh Shiesty. Our Preseda Olguin has been on top of this story and has the latest.
Aside from learning that the 9th and final suspect has been arrested, we've been able to obtain video which shows the FBI at Pooh Shiesty's home the day he was arrested. Take a look at that video. This happened in Memphis. Federal authorities say Shiesty was the ringleader behind the attack on Gucci Mane here in Dallas. That incident happened back in January at a music studio located off Dallas Parkway. The DOJ says Gucci Mane and 2 others were allegedly kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint. They say 9 people were involved, including Pooh Shiesty's father and Big 30. For background, Pooh Shiesty signed on to Gucci Mane's record label back in 2020. And according to the DOJ, Pooh Shiesty is the one who set up the meeting to discuss his recording contract.
As alleged, Williams Jr. produced an AK-style pistol and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint. The remaining conspirators displayed firearms and robbed the other victims of Rolex watches, jewelry, cash, and other high-value items.
Pooh Shiesty was released from federal prison in October and was placed on home confinement for a previous conviction, meaning that it's likely he was wearing an ankle monitor at the time of the crime. Officials say all 9 suspects will be transported here to North Texas, where they will face their crimes. Now, if convicted, each suspect can face life in prison. For now, reporting in Dallas, Preseda Olguin, CBS News, Texas.
Woo! So just like that, Pooh Shiesty, just 100 days after being released from prison, is right back in there and probably is going to spend the rest of his life in there. Ugh. Okay, so now I'm just curious what you think. Do you think it was his dad or him who came up with the plan? I mean, they're both 2 of the dumbest criminals in world history. But either way, let's just assume that Pooh Shiesty's career is done, at minimum, because he's at least going to be gone for 15 years. 10, 15, maybe 20, maybe 30. It's done. But instead, let's focus back on Gucci Mane, because a lot of people are criticizing him, saying that he's a snitch. Like, bro, you spent your whole career lecturing everyone on the streets and being
Mr.
solid,
Rogers,
never snitching, and doing
How
this, that,
dumb
and the
could you
third in
be?
the streets. But then, when
Breathe,
you're a
though,
victim
brother.
of the lifestyle you promoted,
Welcome
you
in,
go
by
to
the way.
police and be a civilian. In my opinion, you can't really pick and choose. You either have to be 100% civilian or in the streets and deal with the consequences.
Mandy,
of
welcome
course,
in.
some public figures would also feel these sentiments.
No, I'm not surprised.
Thank you
Because
for the
Gucci
heart being
gave
the popular
statements
vote.
when the whole Pookie Loc thing happened. Gucci pointed the finger at Jeezy, who was not charged at all, but he talked about motive. He talked about who had...
That's true. There's a video of Jeezy circling around talking about how...
I get it.
Gucci gave a statement.
Yeah, absolutely. So it didn't surprise me because I thought that he was just going to use the security guard
y'all
to do
hear
all the
me
telling
okay,
for
too?
him as much as he possibly could. I didn't
Put
think
one
that he
in
was
the
going to
chat
actually
if
make a
you can.
statement himself.
He folded, y'all. If you think he didn't give corroborating testimony with his wife and whoever was done, Gucci had to put the police in, y'all. It's paperwork on Gucci, and ain't no paperwork on me. But Gucci, you a snitch, and you got a young. Now, I want to tell everybody who's saying Pooh Shiesty crashed out. Now, when you a Jeep, you don't give a damn about going to jail. It's you frauds like Woody and Boosie and them who don't want to go to jail. When you really with the shit like you heard what his mama said, my whole family went. Daddy, son. I thought those are the options when you from the streets, nigga. Jail or death. I thought that's all you get from the streets is jail or the graveyard.
Per usual, Charleston White bringing facts and logic to the table. But of course, Gucci Mane has his defenders as well.
And Roderick simply said, I can't do that. Now, the reason why I'm saying Roderick is because 1017 is a corporate entity. He got a call from his employee that he wanted to meet and go over some business and work. Can he book some studio time? And Roderick did that, took a flight, brought his camera guy, his one security. Pooh Shiesty wouldn't have never tried that with Gucci Mane.
With pregnant Gucci Mane.
Gucci, he wouldn't have tried that.
Right, but pregnant Gucci, that was the,
He wouldn't have tried
that was the most dangerous version of him.
His whole surroundings say that wouldn't be smart. It's gonna be some violence, right?
Because
the mental gymnastics of, okay, but actually, Gucci Mane is a snitch, and maybe that's fine, maybe that's not, but he's a snitch. And according to him himself, he would rather die than become a snitch.
I have never snitched somebody. I never wrote a statement on one, and I never will. That's how I feel. Cause I'm a true G. I never snitch on a nigga. Where we from, we won't do that. If I gotta go, I'm gonna go. I done went before. I don't want to snitch on a nigga.
Mamacita, welcome in. Happy Sunday.
Nobody life. Not even my own. I die.
Obviously that's old, so maybe
Thank
he
you
was
for the
just
heartbeat.
immature at the time, but he did say it, and since then he's never said, I'm done with the streets, I denounce it. Just listen to this guy talk about it.
You gotta denounce what you used to promote, because then people know that you've drawn your line in the sand. Hey, I used to be
for the
pushing this.
love
I
you
used
so
to be
much,
pushing
and the
this no
golden boxing
snitching
gloves.
stuff
Thank you.
and this drug dealing stuff and and killing people. But man, I'm not on that no more. I'm all the way off that. When you draw your line in the sand, then people can't get mad when you do things that grown, mature people do, which is, man, I'm not finna sit here and be silent if somebody held a gun to my head and if somebody tried to stick me up and rob me and try to kill me. But when you don't draw that line in the sand, and I think with Gucci, I think people are feeling like, oh, he snitched because he's still supposed to be held liable for the Gucci he was 20 years ago. This man is grown, married, has kids, has written a book about his mental health struggles and how he's overcome them.
Honestly, he makes a fair point, but what do you guys think? Should Gucci be held liable to the street codes because that's what he pushed his whole freaking life? Or is it like, hey man, you're mature now, you ain't gotta do all that? Well, to get away from the snitching topic, let's get back to Pooh Shiesty and just say,
Kiss their
my
cheek.
goodness, what a dumb dude. And his dad, boy, the apple does not fall far from the tree. Well, with that being said, that's gonna do it for this video. And if you enjoyed it,
Alright,
please,
nice. Shout out to
please
Swamp
leave a comment.
Stories.
Let me know what you
We're
want
gonna keep it going though. The next video is called
When
Serial
you're going
Killer
out to kill
Vlogs,
somebody,
His Murder Spree.
if you're seen
Shout out to
by a single other person on the
Ewu
trail,
Crew.
then that day's screwed.
In Cherokee County, Georgia, a sheriff's deputy stops to question a man parked on private hunting lands. At worst, the man
you for
is
the
guilty
shares,
of
Mamacita.
trespassing, or so the deputy thinks as he approaches.
Good, yourself, sir? What you doing out here? Well, you're the fourth person to come along. Am I? And ask me that. I guess they called you, didn't they? Yes, they did.
I just wanted a place to camp because I'm on my way to Cut. I'm leaving. As a matter of fact, I'm getting my map.
GG, what's going
I
on?
bought some maps right now.
That's why I just came out.
Yeah, we've been watching them every day together lately. Glad you're here.
I see that.
But behind this man's friendly demeanor is a calculating predator hiding bloody secrets and a lengthening trail of bodies.
Life has been sweet. We got to document it.
Look, I'm taking a picture of what I'm come for immortality right here.
If there's deer hunters around there, I can be wearing a purple shirt, that red backpack, and they're going to tell me I'm going to get shot. But, that's a common threat.
When you say, I won't kill anyone today, we'll just go hiking with my dog, have fun. We're doomed anyway.
I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here. God almighty.
Can I get your ID real quick?
Yeah, you sure can. And it's in a, you see that fanny pack right there?
Yes. Are there any weapons in that fanny pack?
Absolutely not, and I'm going to bring it to you.
Hell yeah,
The
GG, I
deputy
love to hear
follows
that,
the man
honestly.
back to his van, never suspecting for a moment that he is in the presence of a cold-blooded monster who
Layla,
was
baby,
killed
what's
before
going on?
and whose thirst for violence has not been quenched.
Happy
And when you
Sunday,
get down
man.
to the bitter end, you ignore all the rules you set, which I did.
Oh, I do have an Hispanic conlang right there. Don't get nervous.
The following report is based on official police records, and most of the footage has never been seen before until now. The first sign of trouble in Leon County, Florida comes when 46-year-old nurse Cheryl Dunlap doesn't show up for her Sunday
Thank you for
school
that heart, me
class.
love.
But it's not
Appreciate you.
until she misses work at Florida State University the next day, December 3rd, 2007, that her friend reports her missing. Her adult son goes by her house, hoping to find an innocent explanation.
The dog was still in there. What was your first thoughts? This ain't good. She's been missing for 2 days, and that dog is still in there. That dog is everywhere with her. And if she's not taking it, she makes arrangements for it to be taken care of. Now, that dog was my brother, if you will.
Police soon realize that no one in Cheryl's life has heard from her since the morning of December 1st, 2 days earlier, when she told a friend she was going to the library. She was logged into the Wakulla County Public Library's computer system at 9:45 that morning, and she cashed a check for $100 at 11:15 a.m. After that, police know nothing. They ask her friends if she might have suddenly decided to leave it all behind.
She wanted to travel. Literally, her actual words was, she said, Laura, she said, I really want some adventure in my life. But she also said that she wanted them through missions. The first thing that comes to mind when I think about Cheryl is godly. You hear about people that are Christians, but she was the type person that she really, really, really tried to live this Christian life. I mean, the way the Bible said.
The idea that Cheryl walked away from her job, her friends, and her 2 sons doesn't seem likely, and the likelihood dims that afternoon when Cheryl's car is found parked off the road near Leon Sinks Geological Park. It's been abandoned. There's no sign of Cheryl or anyone else.
Then we got the call, said they found the car while we were there at the house. So we went there, and I just sat there watching them process it for a little while. And I had heard over the radio that there was a foul odor coming from the trunk. So I wanted to go to see myself if it was or wasn't. So I stood around there and I couldn't smell nothing, so.
But there are troubling signs. Her purse and keys remain in the vehicle. Her belongings are scattered across the seat, and one of the rear tires is flat. When police take a closer look, alarm bells begin to sound. The tire appears to have been deliberately punctured. Signs of foul play are mounting, and it has Cheryl's friends in turmoil.
I've lost a brother suddenly. I've lost a sister. I've lost my mom and dad. And nothing has shaken me like this. Absolutely nothing.
Her son, meanwhile, reflects on a memory he fears may haunt him forever.
I started trying to call her and ask her opinions about what I should do with my life. She didn't have her phone on that day. And I was outside building the pen when she called back. And I told her I couldn't talk or anything.
How long ago was this?
A couple of weeks ago.
That was the last time you talked to her?
I didn't even talk to her.
But that's the last time you heard from her?
Cheryl Dunlap's picture is splashed across the local media. A couple reports seeing her at Leon Sinks on the afternoon of December 1st, sitting on a bench reading a book. From that point forward, her whereabouts are unknown. That is, until police learn from Cheryl's bank that her ATM card has been used 5 times between December 2nd and December 4th, to make withdrawals totaling more than $700.
So if someone used the card, they would have to know it or either get it from her. It wouldn't be where they could just look at it and see it.
No. Probably the only way that she gave up that PIN number was either they threatened her life or her grandbaby's lives.
Investigators head to the bank's main branch to see if there's video, while also looking to the public for help.
Do you remember seeing a gentleman that might have roused your suspicion at all?
No, there's a lot of people come in here that rouses my suspicion. I look at every one of them.
Police have a long investigation in front of them, but what they see at Cheryl's bank makes it clear that there's no time to waste. In video of her recent ATM transactions, detectives see what they feared most. It's not Cheryl Dunlap using the ATM, but a shadowy figure wearing a disturbing homemade mask. Investigators note that the man is tall and thin, but that's not a lot to go on, even for those who know Cheryl best.
Any suspicions as far as people?
I can't imagine anybody. Because I mean, my mom's that type that everybody loves her. She doesn't have any enemies. She's not a Lulu that she just go disappearing. Even the description of the guy on the ATM machine, I can't think of anybody that with description. Skinny, tall, lanky. Can't think of anybody.
The identity of the man behind the mask remains a mystery, but a month later, more than 300 miles to the north, another woman would suddenly vanish. And this time, the monster wouldn't stay in the shadows. On January 1st, 2008, a 24-year-old Georgia woman named Meredith Emerson leaves a note for her roommate before heading off on a hike with her black lab, Ella. When she still hasn't returned by the next morning, her roommate files a report with the Union County Sheriff's Office. Meredith's boyfriend goes looking for her car, which he finds in one of the parking lots at Blood Mountain, one of Meredith's favorite hiking spots. He leaves a note on her car, and with the eventual help of friends and police, begins searching the trails and the surrounding wilderness. Soon news of her disappearance is statewide, as an investigator with the Dawson County Public Defender's Office told EWU.
That it sounded weird.
Here because where she went missing is not far from here. So the county was put on full alert. I mean, we were aware of the case probably.
What does it sound like?
Was declared missing.
But despite the intense search effort, there's no sign of Meredith. Investigators talked
distorted, you say? Anybody else think it sounds distorted?
Day, and it turns out they noticed something else as well. An older man lurking nearby.
Yeah, swipe in and swipe, or swipe out and swipe back in,
across a
GG.
suspicious scene a few minutes after seeing the two. A disturbed portion of the hiking trail, as if there had been a struggle. Left behind on the ground were several items, including water bottles, a dog leash, and most ominously of all, an expandable police baton. Witnesses described the man they saw with Meredith, a 60-year-old white male, around 5 foot 10 inches, 160 pounds. And they mentioned another fact as well. He had a large British dog with him. Police
It might be
shared
the
these
video.
details with the local media, and the tips start rolling in. Could this man be responsible for Meredith's
TikTok heard.
disappearance? Could he even be the same sinister figure seen taking money out of Cheryl Dunlap's bank account a month earlier? The cases are eerily similar. Two women, alone by themselves on national forest land, and now both of them missing. In Leon County, Florida, the tips in Cheryl's case.
It's the video. Oh, it's acting the same on YouTube. Heard.
Ran into this man and his white van, and his dog started barking at us. A big dog, kind of reddish, brownish hair, long hair, I guess.
Again and again, witnesses come forward to describe a very specific man they saw in the area, and most of them agree that it was late November 2007, only days before Cheryl Dunlap went missing.
And we saw an old man, skinny.
Warm.
I remember he was skinny, looked homeless, walking towards us.
A gentleman was standing in front of it and said hello, and he engaged in conversation. Immediately I noticed stuff strewn around the campsite, and the most prominent thing was a beautiful dark red Irish setter.
Okay, Chi.
With his dog.
Hope it sounds better soon.
Approached me coming out of the woods, and it made me nervous.
I don't know why it's doing
He had
that.
this big long knife strapped to his side. The dog was looked like a golden retriever, but it was like a dark rust color.
Probably 5'9", 5'10". He's an older man.
Struck you in the face.
I'm dropping
Cut
frames.
the teeth in the front.
He gave me the creeps when I saw him.
He weirded us out so much that, I mean, I was just joking, completely joking around when I said this, but when people.
An older man, a white van, a red dog. The details coming in are consistent, first in Florida and then a month later in the Georgia mountains. But it's not until a businessman named John Tabor hears the news that police are finally able to put a name to this phantom. Tabor calls the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's tip line and says the man they're looking for used to work for him selling house siding, right up until the day he demanded money and threatened to kill him. The man drives a white Chevrolet Astro van, and he has a red golden retriever he calls Dandy. His name, Tabor tells them, is Gary Michael Hilton. And that's when things start to move very quickly. Armed with this new information, the GBI finds Hilton's driver's license records in the system.
Welcome
and
in,
they send
love.
out an updated Be on the Lookout report to law enforcement
Happy
and
Sunday.
the general public that includes his name and photograph. Hilton is labeled a person of interest in Meredith Emerson's disappearance, and investigators hope to find him before it's too late. Unfortunately, in the Florida case of Cheryl Dunlap, hope has already run out.
I drove up in there to where I like to walk the dogs in, and I seen some buzzards fly up just right beside the road.
On December 15th, 2007, 14 days after Cheryl Dunlap was last seen, a hunter comes upon a tragic discovery in the forest.
I told my son to stay in the truck to, let me see what the buzzards was doing. And I walked out there, and it appeared to be a human body. At first, all I could see was just maybe the torso. I didn't see a head. All I could see was from maybe neck to waist.
Okay.
And I thought it was a deer to start with.
Thank you for the heartbeat,
When I looked at
Michelle.
it, and I seen the leg and the foot sticking out. I knew what it was then.
The body is nude and is already significantly decomposed. It is found deep in the forest off the main roads.
It appeared to have been somebody tried to cover it up.
Police find the body covered in tree limbs and palmetto fronds from the surrounding woods, but that's not enough to hide the damage that has been done to this woman. Her hands have been removed. Her nipples have been cut off. She's been decapitated and left out here to rot. Because of the advanced
cuts off somebody's
decomposition in the missing
nipples?
head, the medical examiner could only label the cause of death as undetermined homicidal violence. 4 days later, the Leon County Sheriff's Office holds a press conference to announce the grim news the community had feared. The body in the woods belongs to Cheryl Dunlap. Authorities in Georgia are desperate to catch up to Gary Hilton before the same
Cheryl.
fate befalls Meredith Emerson. On January 4th, 3 days since her disappearance, there's a development. A black lab is spotted walking into a Kroger supermarket in Cumming, Georgia. It's chipped, and before the day is through, they've identified it as Ella, Meredith's dog. When Meredith's father speaks to the press, he says, "We're happy that Ella has been found, but Meredith is still out there." Later that day, a woman reports that Gary Hilton called her wanting money. The return number comes from a payphone, and police quickly track it to a Quick Trip in Cumming, just across the street from where Ella was found. They process the payphone for evidence, but it's what they find in the nearby dumpster that gives them a shock. A woman's purse, bloody clothing, and a wallet with identification cards inside. The driver's license and student ID cards belong to Meredith Emerson. If the hunt for Gary Hilton could ever become more intense, it just did. And that night, police get the 911 calls they've been hoping for.
Hi, I'm calling from Cambridge Square Shopping Center, and I'm calling about that person, Gary Hilton, in connection with the one that's missing.
A man matching Gary Hilton's description has been spotted at a Chevron station in Chamblee, Georgia, approximately 30 miles south of Cumming.
And I'm walking my dog, and at the gas station up here, there's a white van and a red dog wandering around, like his red dog.
It's definitely him. The van is there. The dog is there. I saw his face.
He's got a whole bunch of stuff he's pulling out, like he's living out of his van, pulling out and organizing his stuff in his van.
He's throwing stuff in the dumpster here. He's making multiple trips back to his van and gets out and taking it to a dumpster. 114, it's hard to go around to that location. It'll be obvious. It's definitely him. He's looking around like he is as guilty as sin.
He's got to be gone if somebody doesn't get you.
I can go take him down if you want. No, there, stay right there. Okay.
He said, "I can go take him down if you want."
Oh, I'm just shaking. Here we go. Here comes the cops.
Bro is ready.
Yeah, Lisa there. Yes. Yes. They got him.
Hilton goes flat on the ground immediately and is taken into custody. The police also secure his van and his now famous red dog, Dandy. But while the arrest goes off without a hitch, every officer officer on scene can see for themselves the unsettling truth. Meredith Emerson is nowhere to be found. Hilton is taken to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, where he lies prone on the floor, unwilling to cooperate and complaining of pain from multiple sclerosis.
Mr. Hilton, my name's Clay Bridges. I'm a special agent with the GBI. Over the past couple of days, I've come to know you pretty good. I've spoken with numerous people who say that you're extremely healthy, extremely smart, very intelligent, almost genius level. I would prefer to talk to you if you were kind of sitting up and I could look at you a little bit. And I understand that you're a distance runner and that you know, a very healthy individual.
With Hilton unwilling to answer questions, the agent says something that is perhaps intended to get a reaction.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a whole lot warmer down here than it was up on Blood Mountain.
But Hilton doesn't take the bait, and neither the GBI nor the doctors can get him to talk.
We're going to take really good care of you, okay? Basically, already have. Yes, sir. Do you feel like you've been mistreated?
Yes, I have.
When was the last time you had a good meal?
I'm through talking to you. I'm making those statements. I don't want to be interrogated anymore.
Well, if you don't want to talk to me, then I'm going to make the decision that right now you're not an immediate life threat and that you could possibly stay here with these gentlemen, continue doing with them what they need to do with you, okay?
Put me back in the handcuffs.
There are many signs that Hilton has been in an altercation, including a cut on his nose and a badly swollen right hand. GBI agent Clay Bridges leaves Hilton with a final thought.
Remember what I told you about that, about Meredith? You need to go ahead and just tell us where she's at, okay? There's no much more in your face. Aside from it being the right thing to do.
Hilton isn't moved by this appeal to his conscience, which is perhaps not surprising if he's the man guilty of killing Cheryl Dunlap in Florida. And the evidence is growing. The tips keep coming in Leon County, and police search campsites near where Hilton was reportedly seen. At one, they make a horrifying discovery: a burn pit, amongst which they find charred finger bones and skull fragments.
Goodness. We just lost sound. Hold on. Did that.
Oh, yeah.
These home videos
Thank
give
you for letting me know,
investigators an
Michelle.
unprecedented
Appreciate you.
look into the life of a violent drifter.
I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, he's just a real red, and he has that Irish confirmation also. Okay, come on, honey. Let's get. Good boy. Now you got to stay out here. Okay, now we're going to get ready after he's greeted, and we'll be all happy. You got to stay right here, Wawa. You do.
The police will soon discover much darker recordings
Shy.
on the
Appreciate
memory
it, ladies.
sticks. For now, they charge Gary Hilton with kidnapping in the Meredith Emerson case. It remains to be seen if additional charges will follow. As police transport Hilton to the Union County Jail in Georgia, his attitude has improved, but his willingness to answer questions about Meredith's whereabouts has not.
You guys are pissed at me, so hey, I ain't. You get the cops pissed off, man. You must be fast.
All right, now you ain't gonna do nothing squirrely on
Oh
us, right?
yeah, like I can with you.
Little swirly.
He's sitting there with one gun in the holster and the other in his seat. I mean, Jesus Christ, he's gonna turn around and cap me. I am okay, totally. I was trying to figure out who I was gonna give my dog to before I turned myself in. I saw the paper. I caught the paper.
You're gonna turn yourself
This should
in.
probably work right here.
I saw
Hold
the
on.
paper. I saw
This
that.
for y'all.
I saw it was on the front page of the paper. You know.
It didn't seem like you were gonna turn yourself in.
Well, hey, you know something? I'm making statements.
Got
and
it.
I ain't
Finally.
making no statements.
Finally,
But
that's
Hilton's
for y'all.
position on answering questions will soon shift, and
I have
agents
heart
with the
powers
Georgia
now.
Bureau of Investigation will finally get a deep look into one of the most sinister minds they've ever come in contact with. In hours of interviews, they'll begin to piece together
Thank
what
you,
happened
Michelle.
to Meredith that day on Blood Mountain, and what they hear from Gary Hilton changes everything.
Since I was 4 years old, my earliest thoughts were of death. I said, you know something, no one's even missed you. And she said, boy, I'd be mad if once you let me go and I came back and my boyfriend said, have you been gone? I spent 3 days with her. We had long talks about everything. I gave her a book to read. It was kind of like the Lone Ranger. And the Lone Ranger would come galloping into town. They would always say,
Who was that masked man?
yeah, who was that masked man? Okay, that's what I do to society.
Hilton admits that some of what is driving him to talk is the kidnapping charge, which he believes will likely put him away for the rest of his life.
They had me on the kidnapping, and it was going to stick. The evidence was good.
Do me a favor, y'all.
That
Let me
was
know
a
if you can hear
dumpster.
this.
It's just a smoking gun. They had me.
The investigators take a low-pressure approach to the interviews, which gives Hilton all the room he needs to expand on every topic he can think of, including his history of
Did y'all hear that?
conflicts with the other dog owners he meets while hiking.
The average dog owner doesn't know jack about dogs. The average animal control officer doesn't know jack about dogs. They anthropomorphize. That means assigning human qualities to something. Anthropomorphic. Okay? And they assign human qualities to dogs. And what that means is that they want dogs to be like humans, which is be nice and get along. Well, that's not the way it is in the dog world. Because when dogs talk to each other, you know, they quite often revert back to the wolf world. And the wolf world is more incredibly savage and brutal than you can ever imagine. Humans don't understand
The hell is this dude
that
talking
in the
about?
dog world or the wolf world, there are no assault and battery laws. There are no murder laws. And quite often, there is no fear. Okay, imagine such a world where there's no murder laws.
Before Hilton can go too deeply into his fantasy of a world without laws, he explains how to handle confrontations with dogs and their owners.
My goal in a stick fight with a human or a dog is not to make contact with a dog. A successful stick fight is preventative. To me, is shaping it with a stick and not making contact. Because it takes it to a whole other level when you make, especially with a human being. You hit a human being with a stick, regardless of the situation, it's probably going to ruin your day, buddy. And it may not go your way either, even though it always has. I've had the police called on me 30 times at least, and no exaggeration, in 17 years.
Hilton's history with the police is well documented, and not all of it concerns other dogs. He has a history of theft, telephone fraud, arson, and was even accused at one point of attempting to murder his own stepfather. His conflicts with the law haven't settled in recent years, as demonstrated by police dash cams and his own home videos.
What do you have on your hands there?
Don't ask me, man. He's about to take off. Sir? Okay, look. I've been nothing but respectful for you, but if you're gonna continue to create a problem, we can take it to the next level.
Putting out leaflet soliciting? Yes. You're the lawman, you are the law. I'm going to check it out, and if it ain't the law and you're wrong,
You come talk to me.
I'm not talking to nobody. I'm filing and I'm suing because
Go
you're
right ahead.
interrupting my work.
Go right ahead.
But it's one particular encounter with the cops that catches the public's attention after his arrest.
You bumped into a Cherokee County deputy up on some private hunting property back in, I guess it was October or something, and that was widely publicized.
I've got maps of the area, and I was headed to Cohutta, from Lawrenceville, but I'm out of Chambly.
Okay.
And I camped out here 20 years ago. I can show you, I got a WMA map right now.
You may have 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It probably was okay.
When the footage comes out, cops working the Cheryl Dunlap case notice the cap Hilton is wearing. It bears a striking resemblance to the one in the ATM footage from Leon County.
You know, I just wanted a place to camp because I'm on my way to Cohutta. I'm leaving. As a matter of fact, I'm getting my maps together. I got to buy some maps right now.
Did you hear, did he get on tape my joke about deer hunters?
Yeah.
What's the 3 reasons the deer hunter goes into? Yeah. I made that up. I'm a comedian, too.
But I have a little joke about these southern outdoorsmen. They come out in the woods for 3 reasons. One is to get drunk. The other is to poach, and the other is to change the oil in their truck. I'm sorry. I just stopped it.
But though Hilton has suspicious items in his possession,
Oh, I do have an expanding con lane right there. Don't get nervous. I won't get out of the truck without it, man.
the deputy lets him go on his way, unaware that he's releasing a vicious predator back into the wild.
Is it almost like a little acting on your behalf to, I don't know, kind of steer this law enforcement officer away from you, or?
Well, with him, no. I was being perfectly,
of course not.
Candid with him.
Hey, completely
Hilton says that
honest.
certain police officers will immediately recognize when they're dealing with a pro.
You and I were talking earlier, and you described yourself as a pro. And I mean, in talking about that, I, as a police officer, when you and I encounter one another, I'm going to know you're not. And I know what you mean, but how do you define that? As far as how are you a pro?
I'm a pro in that I'm not just styling. You see, the average civilian, their entire life is a style. Nothing is real. They're talking the talk and they're not walking the walk. And they're styling. And that's why you see posers. That's my word. Perfectly precious posers. That's what yuppies are.
Hey, I love you. Mr. Hilton, take care. Be safe.
There's a large number of police officers that are highly experienced.
Right.
And that they are pros.
Right.
And they recognize a pro when they see a pro.
Right.
And I'm a pro.
This wouldn't be the last time Hilton would manage to keep his true nature hidden from law enforcement in the closing months of 2007. On November 17th, only 2 weeks before Cheryl Dunlap went missing, a Forest Service ranger spoke to him near a campsite in Leon County.
From what he told me, he was returning to his campsite, and he was walking along the road. He had a dog and a walking stick.
The ranger runs the tag on his white Chevy Astro parked back at the campsite.
Who did the van come back to?
It came back to Gary Michael Hilton.
It will soon come to light that Hilton already had blood on his hands before speaking to these officers. Nonetheless, he's in custody now, and then a series of audio and video interviews with the GBI, he will finally reveal the full story behind what happened New Year's Day on Blood Mountain.
But anyway, it's a good place to hunt in that you have a huge selection. But it's a bad place to hunt in that you
Because they have a lot of people.
So the way you would do it,
Witnesses.
so the way you would do it would be to lurk in a blind, so to speak, off the trail, observe with binoculars, and lurk. But I didn't do that either because I like to hike.
What I'd like to know is how accomplished of a hiker are you?
Oh.
I mean, you've been to.
But I'm going to tell you something. I want to tell you something. I've never met anyone, ever, and people are full of on this too, but I've never met anyone anywhere, any way, that has the time in the woods and the time on the trail that I have. I've never worked full-time anyway in my life, except for the U.S. Army.
Hilton was enlisted in the Army as a young man before being discharged for demonstrating symptoms of psychosis, an early glimpse of the darkness to come.
Did you know Meredith Emerson before the other day? No. Okay. At what time or when did you first become aware of her, or when did you first see her?
On the mountain, at the intersection of the Herbert Reef Connector Trail and the AT, at that intersection.
How did you strike up a conversation with her or whatever?
Dogs, you know, people that have dogs, dogs are going to meet. And anytime I encounter someone with a loose dog specifically, which both of ours were, a larger dog, I immediately determine the sex of the dog because I have a male and I don't allow my dog to meet adult males.
So you asked her what sex her dog was?
Or, yeah, that kind of thing. And she stopped at that location to eat and eat some trail mix and to give her dog water.
After a brief exchange, the two continued hiking, and the 24-year-old athlete quickly put distance between herself and Hilton. But soon enough, Meredith would come back down the trail, and this time, Hilton would be ready.
Did you form an opinion at that point, or did you form an idea at that point that you wanted to abduct her at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
This was driven really by nothing but, well, the desire to obtain her card.
That was the sole purpose? You wanted her card?
Yeah, and rather than pick a guy or a couple with a guy who might really fight, you know, because if you want a card and PIN number and the guy fights and you got to kill him, well, where are you at? You know, so I felt I knew it would be easier to establish control over a female, any female,
than it would a male. It's not that I couldn't whip a male, but once you whip him, you might be left holding an empty bag.
Hilton's aside about his ability to take on a man is perhaps unsurprising given his many thoughts about masculinity and the differences between the genders.
But that's what a woman wants you to do as an adult, is to play house, okay, and to have children. How many 9-year-old boys, now, don't get me wrong, I understand that for many men, having children is the greatest thing in their life, but nevertheless, how many 9-year-old boys have you known that have said, oh, you know, I don't want to be a soldier or a pilot or astronaut, I want to grow up and have a family. Bull.
Exactly,
Look at
Shy,
any
'cause
man's
you
home.
really
It ain't a
never
man's
know.
home. It's a woman's home. And what is this man thing? Having a nice lawn. Oh, Jesus Christ, give me a break. Out there cutting grass and digging in the dirt like a animal.
According to Gary, it all comes down to an imbalance of power.
Part of my dislike, or I wouldn't call it hatred, but almost, for women is that they have all the advantages. And that's how they get men to do what they want them to do.
Oh, yeah?
Always, yeah. Either you do what I want, or in the end, I'm going to give it to someone else. For women to threaten to give it away, and for them to let you know that they could give it away, and they have given it away, increases the value of it. However,
It's marketing.
But a sophisticated woman understands that to threaten to give it away increases the value, and actually giving it away to someone else decreases the value. And some women aren't smart enough to know the difference, and they f up that way.
It's not just Gary's thoughts on women that cast doubt
You
on
hear
his
him
narrative that he only
making
confronted
mention to
Meredith for her
determining
bank
the
cards.
sexes of the dogs,
It's also
too.
the fact that no money has been withdrawn from her account.
Very
But as
weird.
the investigators soon learn, Meredith Emerson is not a woman to be trifled with.
The act occurred, the demand occurred at the point where the water bottles and baton were found and ladies in dog treat. That's where the demand occurred.
Okay, and by demand, what do you say? What did you say?
Credit cards and nothing.
Okay. And when you did that, and when you said that, did you produce the baton, or
no.
what did you produce?
A knife, bayonet.
You
The bayonet is probably still up there. I lost control of both. She fought. And as I read in the paper, she's a martial artist. I read in the paper she practiced martial arts.
Okay.
And she fought. And she grabbed the knife.
Okay.
I lost control of the knife.
Okay.
And she grabbed the knife blade and slightly, very slightly cut her hand on the webbing between her thumb and forefinger. I was not aware of that till later on, and I said, "Where'd you get that cut at?" She said, "When I grabbed the knife."
Okay.
But she grabbed the knife and fought.
Okay.
And then I produced the baton.
Okay.
She fought that, and I lost control of the baton. And I'm good too.
You
This
could
girl.
even whoop a woman.
I think it was you probably. One of the GBIs said that little 120-pound girl about probably close to whip your. Well, she about did.
But Gary can't admit that he was in any real trouble, not to the investigators, and perhaps not even to himself.
It was not my finest hour. It was not my, I mean, I'm better than that. I am, but I found out.
You're not better than that, Gary.
Which don't mean, again, they're styling. These black belts, they're styling. They're not fighters. They're learning to do some little, but on the other hand, doing that kind of thing does increase your coordination, your hand-eye, etc., and it gets you more used to hand-to-hand combat as opposed to an untrained person, even though they're not really fighters, and she didn't do no.
I heard
it's
that,
just that
Shy.
she was real quick with her hands and had no hesitation about grabbing weapons and everything. And not only that, she was hard to subdue. And fought like hell, man. Fought and fought and fought and fought, and then once I gained control over her and got her 10 to 15 feet away from the trail on that little side trail I told you about, she started fighting again.
But what Gary characterizes as a fight sounds more like a merciless beating.
I had to hand fight her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I got this hand. I probably have multiple fractures in my right hand now.
Okay.
However, I'm not in pain, and I don't think any of them are displaced. I had to hand fight her, and I still couldn't get control of her. She would feign or pretend that I was in control and then start fighting again.
Right.
So I had to hit her a number of times.
Now you hit her every time with your right hand, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are straight in punches.
In the face, or?
Yeah, or the head.
Okay.
As to what extent she was injured, her two eyes were somewhat blackened. She may or may not have a fractured nose. I checked with her a number of times, and she was not in any pain other than, afterwards, she was not in any pain other than a headache. I offered her and gave her aspirin.
Hilton tells the investigators that once they were safely off the trail, he was able to finally subdue her.
So I got control of her again, quieted her down, got control of her again, and I kept her moving down that close trail around the corner of the mountain, so to speak. And at that point, I produced like a duck tie. It's like handcuffs that police use.
Zip tie?
Zip tie, yeah. Okay. Except these were just commercial zip ties, 18-inch zip ties.
You remember what color they were?
Yeah, black. They're not there anymore. You'll probably find them in the dumpster, I believe, probably.
Yeah. Did you have a rubber band around them?
Yeah.
Again. Viewers now. Lagging. I don't know if y'all can still see me.
The dumpster, I believe, probably.
Yeah. Did you have a rubber band around them?
Yeah.
Okay, we did find.
We can see, okay, you can see me. Can you hear me? I don't know why the video stopped. I'm trying to reload it right now. Happening. YouTube doesn't really, I don't really know YouTube to have problems like this, so I don't know if my internet is about to fail. Okay, there we go. We're back.
Like a duck tie. It's like handcuffs that police use.
Zip tie?
Zip tie, yeah.
Okay.
Except these were just commercial zip ties, 18-inch zip ties.
You remember what color they were?
Yeah, black. They're not there anymore. You'll probably find them in the dumpster, I believe, probably.
Yeah. Did you have a rubber band around them?
Yeah.
Okay,
There
we
we
did
go.
find one up there.
I don't know. Oh, you did? So I zip tied her to a tree, and I
Thank y'all
knew
for
that I
keeping
had
me
to go
updated
and
too, ladies.
clean the crime scene.
Hilton's use of zip ties in Meredith's abduction draws another connection to the Cheryl Dunlap case. Investigators searching several of Hilton's Leon County campsites find a number of items he left behind, and zip ties are prominently among them. But it's something else that Hilton leaves on Blood Mountain that will make the connection undeniable.
Told her to be quiet and stay.
Okay.
And went back to clean the crime scene, but it had already been found.
Okay, by that time it had already been found.
I saw the three. There were three hikers that had found the things, and they were no longer there.
Okay.
And they were headed down slope, and they were looking.
Were you crouching behind a rock at that point? Looking at them?
And looking at them, and then I laid down flat in the trail above them. Because if a trail is cut in, into a slope and someone's below, if you lay in the flat, you're depilated or insulated, so to speak. And I laid down in the trail at that point, and the stuff was gone.
Among the items Hilton lost on the mountain were his expanding police baton, Meredith's leash and water bottles, and the dagger-like knife he calls a bayonet. When investigators with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement compare the blade of the bayonet to the hole in Cheryl Dunlap's tire, any doubt is put to rest. It's an exact match.
If I'd been back to the crime scene just a few minutes sooner, just several minutes sooner, I would have beat those people that found the bat, and I would have picked it up. But as it was, I had to fight her twice, bring her all the way around the corner of the mountain, and then secure her to a tree, in spite of her protestations, and then go back for it. So she caught me fair and square. Yeah.
Now, one thing I didn't ask you about this, since you're on that point, one thing I didn't ask you about, did you have to put
something to keep her quiet, a gag, so to speak, or anything like that?
No.
Was she unconscious at that point?
Never.
Well, I'm wondering why she wasn't yelling when you just tied her to a tree, and when you went back to clean the crime scene. Is what I'm getting at.
There comes a point they fight, and then they submit.
Right.
And a lot of it is because of me.
Right.
I reassure them. That it's going to be okay, but just quit fighting or you're going to get hurt. I tell them, listen, honey, I'm going to spend life in prison just because you said no.
Gary has a great many ideas about how a victim should behave under Meredith's circumstances.
But you know, the advice to people if they're abducted is to engage your abductor and to make yourself a person.
He has abduction advice?
And not have them think of you as an object. To engage them, to tell them your name, to tell them about yourself, tell them about your family, tell them about tell your abductor that, you know. Tell them what you study, what your dreams and hopes and plans and schemes are. And try to engage them and make yourself a person rather than an object, because the abductor is psychopathic. He's looking at you in an inhuman way. You want to make yourself a human.
Have to make yourself a person when you get abducted.
It was always me. It was always me engaged. First thing I ask him is,
turn yourself into a person. Gotcha.
What's your favorite song? What do you do for work? Where'd you go to school? What do you like?
Thanks, Gary.
And talk to him. It calms them down. It calms them down. But none of them ever did that to me.
Hilton tells the investigators that he would act much differently if put in that position.
She never once told me, hey, my name is Meredith. I mean, that's what I'd be doing.
About to cut off
I'd be pitching a guy like hell. They don't even pitch me. Like, really, I won't say a word, you know. Just, you know, I'd be saying, hey, listen, hey, no sweat, listen, I'll tell them you had me blindfolded all the time. I didn't even see you, nothing. I don't know a thing. I have no good. Hey, I'm not even going to report this. Hey, just cut me loose, you know, cut me loose as soon as you can. If I can get back for big alarms raised, I'll never even report. I'd be pitching the whole damn time.
Meredith, who wasn't fortunate enough to have Hilton's instructions on how to be a victim, is subdued by other means.
What did you do at that point?
Went back to her and cut her loose. And she was not tied at all.
Cutting off. Single problem with this all day now. As soon as I get on stream now, it's it's unstable connection. Yeah, I know it's frozen. I'm gonna get it back in a second. I don't know why it's doing this right now. Oh no, it's because I'm streaming. That's why it's doing it.
Arms raised, I'll never even report. I'd be pitching the whole damn time.
So like, is the connection
who wasn't
unstable
fortunate
or
enough to have
not?
Hilton's
What are we
instructions
doing?
on how to be a victim, is subdued by other means.
Seems like we're getting hated on, right? What it seems like.
What did you do at that point?
Went back to her and cut her loose. And she was not tied at all, except I put a loop around her neck.
Oh, what kind of loop?
Just a nylon cord, 300 pound. Just wasn't
Wait,
even tied. It was like a loop.
I put a loop line around her neck, and just like a leash, like a dog's leash, and that's the only way she was secured. Okay. And I told her that I had a gun, and that, you know, I was going to shoot her. Now, I didn't have a gun, but I had a BB pistol that looked like a gun, and I was going to shoot her down. And, you know, she took off running or something. You know, because you got to do that, because most girls could probably outrun me.
Am I still on? You can't see me?
Not that fast. And after that, from then on, she totally cooperated. We traversed the blood mountain through the stick stuff, down through the drainage, up. And she was totally cooperative with me and everything.
Let me ask you this. At this point, was her hands free?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, you didn't have those zip tied?
No,
You just
she-
had the noose
Yes,
around
and
her
I
neck?
told her I had a pistol, which I did, but
Okay.
I told her I had a firearm, and that I would shoot her by that time, and from that time on, she was compliant, totally compliant, and I was solicitous of her behavior, of her condition, and of her comfort from then on also.
Okay.
My intent was not to torture.
Hold on.
Hilton says that he took Meredith down the mountain before tying
So
her
he
to
was having
another
some
tree
issues a little
and again
earlier,
making
too.
what he calls
Can y'all hear
the
me? Can y'all see me now?
I told her, well, I was going to have to get her card
Hell.
and PIN number out of the car, which was in her purse, under the seat.
Let me back up. Did she tell you where her purse and pin or cards were?
Yeah.
Okay. And she told you where her cards were at that point? Or?
Yeah. She told me incorrectly, but it was just under the wrong seat. She said under the driver's seat. It was actually under the passenger seat.
Okay.
Hilton says he approached the parking lot cautiously, knowing there was
I'm
a
gonna
chance
change
that the
the
hikers
video
above
just
had
to
called
make
the
sure
police.
that we're
When he
okay.
arrives, however, the coast is clear, and he moves his van next to her car.
So I walked her up next to her car, opened the side door of my van, and put her in my van. And then took a chain, put her in my van and laid her down. And I had...
Okay, we're going to change the video just to see. It's just not working right now. I don't know, y'all. Kind of frustrated.
I grab it out. Blood squirt.
What's the location of your emergency?
I've been having one single hiccup the entire day.
And it smells real rotten. Now something coming out the nose.
He like, Dad, help.
On December 13th,
Thank you for hanging out
2019,
with me
in Dayton,
and sticking
Ohio,
around, though, y'all.
30-year-old Al McLean makes this 911 call after realizing that his 10-year-old son Dakota Collins is unconscious.
What's the location of your emergency?
Yes, my son is unresponsive right now.
Your son
and I
is
need
Hold on. Okay, you said your son is unresponsive? Okay, how old is he?
He's a child with a lot of medical issues. So what he do is he'll just not have it.
Stop, just for a minute. How old is he?
He's 11 years old.
Okay.
In 3 days.
The following is based on official police records, and some of the footage has never been seen before.
And when you say he's unresponsive, is he breathing?
Yeah, but barely.
We're going to go ahead and start CPR, okay? So keep him laying at where he is, okay?
Okay. He got something coming out his mouth.
Okay, what's coming out? What do you think is coming out?
I'm not sure what it is. He won't stop me, no call.
Okay.
You all right?
Is he responding to it at all? Is he breathing?
It's hard to say. I see his eyes.
Okay, and what are his eyes doing?
Zero idea.
Like, are they moving? Is any part of his body moving?
No, they just still.
If you think his mouth is
Now
coming out,
something coming out his nose. He's throwing up out his nose now.
Dispatch then instructs Al to begin CPR, but despite the seriousness of the situation, this is far easier